The hip-hop world is buzzing with shock and disbelief after NBA YoungBoy reportedly exposed Birdman for playing him behind the scenes, revealing tensions and secrets fans never imagined. For years, YoungBoy has been one of the most talked-about names in rap, with millions following every move, every track, every drama. But this latest revelation could change the way the public, and even the industry, views the relationship between the Louisiana rapper and one of hip-hop's most notorious moguls. According to sources close to the situation, NBA YoungBoy claims that Birdman, who has a long history of nurturing young talent, manipulated situations, making moves that benefited the label while leaving YoungBoy at a disadvantage. Whether it's about contracts, collaborations, or control over his music, the details emerging now suggest a side of the music business that rarely makes it into headlines. Fans on social media are going viral with clips, screenshots, and speculation, dissecting every word NBA YoungBoy has said about Birdman. The tension between mentor and protege has long been whispered about in the streets and online forums, but now it's out in the open, and it's explosive. YoungBoy's revelation isn't just about money or deals. It's about trust, loyalty, and respect, core values that are often tested in the music industry. By speaking up, he's not only defending himself but also exposing the complicated dynamics that many artists face when dealing with industry veterans who hold immense power. The drama has sparked waves across hip-hop communities, with fans picking sides, influencers weighing in, and journalists digging for every hidden detail. Everyone wants to know, how deep does this manipulation go? What moves did Birdman make behind the scenes? And how did they impact YoungBoy's career? More importantly, what does this mean for NBA YoungBoy's future in the industry? And can he truly reclaim control over his brand, music, and legacy? This story promises shocking revelations, unseen conflicts, and insights into the darker side of the rap world, where loyalty is tested and power is everything. In the next few minutes, we'll break down every detail of NBA YoungBoy's claims against Birdman. From alleged betrayals and behind-the-scenes maneuvers to the strategies YoungBoy is using to reclaim his voice, we'll cover it all. Stay tuned, because the truth is more dramatic and explosive than fans ever expected, and it's shaking the foundations of the rap industry as we know it. For years, NBA YoungBoy has been one of the most talked-about names in rap, known for his relentless drive, street credibility, and ability to churn out hits at a pace few can match. But behind the flashy videos, millions of streams, and headline-grabbing moments lies a story that few fans have seen. A tense, complicated relationship with Birdman, one of hip-hop's most influential yet controversial figures. Sources close to the situation claim that the connection between the two artists has been anything but simple. What began as mentorship and guidance allegedly transformed into a dynamic where power, control, and manipulation played major roles. YoungBoy, whose talent is undeniable, has reportedly been navigating a web of strategic moves designed by Birdman, moves that may have benefited the label more than the young artist himself. This behind-the-scenes tension is now coming to light, and fans are watching in disbelief, wondering what really went on between the two rap heavyweights. Industry insiders suggest that Birdman's influence in the business side of rap has always been carefully calculated. From contract negotiations to distribution deals, Birdman has long been known for securing arrangements that prioritize his empire first. NBA YoungBoy, while young and ambitious, may have been caught in these subtle manipulations without fully realizing the long-term implications. Some sources allege that projects, features, and even promotional strategies were controlled in ways that limited YoungBoy's creative freedom and financial gains. While YoungBoy's talent brought him fame and recognition, these behind-the-scenes maneuvers created tension, frustration, and a sense of betrayal. Social media users and fans have been dissecting every hint, post, and story, trying to figure out exactly what went wrong and how it reflects the larger power dynamics within the music industry. The story isn't just about contracts or money. It's about loyalty, respect, and the clash between youth and experience. NBA YoungBoy's decision to speak out represents a rare glimpse into how young artists often navigate relationships with industry veterans who hold enormous influence. The rapper's revelations reportedly include details about instances where Birdman allegedly promised support or guidance, only for YoungBoy to later discover that certain moves had been orchestrated to benefit the label or Birdman personally. This has sparked outrage among fans, many of whom have flooded social media with messages of support, insisting that YoungBoy deserves control over his own career and creative output. The drama is more than just gossip. It's a story about agency, trust, and the challenges that come with rising to stardom under the shadow of one of hip-hop's most powerful moguls. Observers note that NBA YoungBoy's response to these revelations is calculated and deliberate. Rather than impulsively lashing out, he has been strategically sharing his perspective, ensuring that his narrative reaches fans, insiders, and even other artists who understand the stakes. By controlling the story, YoungBoy isn't just exposing alleged manipulations. He's reclaiming power in a system that often prioritizes labels and executives over individual artists. His transparency has fueled debates about mentorship versus control, with fans weighing the benefits and drawbacks of working with industry veterans like Birdman. At the same time, insiders say that this exposure could inspire other young artists to speak up about their own experiences, challenging long-standing hierarchies within the rap world. As this saga continues to unfold, it's clear that NBA YoungBoy is in the middle of a pivotal moment in his career. The stakes are enormous. Reputation, creative freedom, and financial stability all hang in the balance. Every statement, every post, and every interview contributes to shaping how the public perceives not just YoungBoy, but Birdman as well. Fans are left on edge, anticipating every new revelation, while insiders speculate on the potential fallout from these claims. In many ways, this isn't just a story about a single artist or a single executive. It's a window into the complicated, high-stakes world of hip-hop, where trust is fragile, influence is everything, and speaking the truth can change everything. NBA YoungBoy's choice to expose Birdman marks a defining moment, one that will be discussed for years to come, reshaping narratives and perhaps even inspiring a new generation of artists to demand transparency and control over their own careers. The tension between NBA YoungBoy and Birdman had been simmering for months before it finally erupted into the public eye, and part 2 of this story reveals just how deep the conflict ran behind the scenes. Sources close to YoungBoy suggest that the rapper had grown increasingly frustrated with the lack of control over his own projects. Tracks that he had poured his heart into were delayed, promotional opportunities were allegedly mishandled, and creative input that should have been his to make was YoungBoy, who built his career on authenticity and connection with fans, began to feel that his voice was being silenced in favor of business decisions that benefited Birdman and the label. It was a clash of ambition and authority, with YoungBoy wanting freedom and Birdman exerting influence, and the tension was reaching a boiling point. Insiders say that this struggle was not immediately visible to fans, as YoungBoy continued to release music and maintain his public persona of confidence and dominance. But behind the cameras, frustrations were mounting. According to sources, he began documenting everything: text messages, contracts, promises made and broken, and instances where label strategies conflicted with his vision. These documents, combined with guidance from trusted advisors, formed the foundation of his exposure, providing tangible proof of the behind-the-scenes maneuvers. For YoungBoy, speaking out was not just about calling someone out. It was a carefully calculated effort to reclaim his narrative and assert control over the future of his career. The conflict between the two also highlights a larger pattern in the music industry. Young artists often find themselves caught between creative expression and the demands of business-minded executives. Birdman, with decades of experience and a reputation for building rap empires, has long been a figure who prioritizes influence and profit. For NBA YoungBoy, this clash became personal. He reportedly faced situations where collaborations, releases, and even tours were controlled in ways that restricted his freedom. Friends close to the rapper say that he had to make difficult choices, balancing loyalty, respect, and strategy while determining how to protect his career and brand from decisions that might not align with his goals. The tension was both emotional and professional, a mix that added complexity to the already high-stakes world of hip-hop. Meanwhile, the social media fallout began almost immediately after YoungBoy's revelations. Fans, commentators, and even other artists began dissecting every claim, comparing past collaborations, contracts, and public appearances for signs of manipulation. Memes, reactions, and analysis videos flooded platforms like Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, creating a frenzy of discussion. Some sided with YoungBoy, arguing that it was time for artists to take control of their careers, while others defended Birdman, emphasizing his experience and success in shaping the rap industry. The debate wasn't just online. It echoed through radio shows, podcasts, and news outlets, cementing the story as one of the most talked-about conflicts in modern hip-hop. By the end of Part 2, it was clear that NBA YoungBoy was no longer willing to remain passive in his own career. The tension with Birdman had become more than just a disagreement over money or creative direction. It was a fight for agency, identity, and respect. Every revelation he shared further solidified his position, both in the eyes of fans and in the broader industry. YoungBoy's story in this chapter wasn't just about exposing alleged wrongdoing. It was about reclaiming control, setting boundaries, and asserting that even the most powerful figures in rap cannot dictate the future of a rising superstar without consequence. The fallout, insiders predict, will continue to ripple through the music world, reshaping narratives, influencing contracts, and sending a warning to other artists and executives alike. Loyalty and respect must be mutual, or the truth will eventually surface. As NBA YoungBoy's revelations began spreading across social media, the pressure on him intensified, but so did his determination. Sources close to the rapper say that, behind the scenes, he was meticulously planning how to expose Birdman without damaging his own brand or career. This wasn't a simple feud or emotional rant. It was a carefully constructed strategy to show fans and the industry the truth about how he had allegedly been played. YoungBoy reportedly consulted with lawyers, managers, and close allies to ensure that his statements had weight and credibility. Every screenshot, text, and contract detail he shared was chosen to create maximum impact. The goal was clear: reclaim his narrative, show the public what had really happened, and ensure that his voice, creativity, and financial rights were respected moving forward. The conflict also illuminated the complexities of the mentor-protege dynamic in hip-hop. Birdman, with decades of industry experience, has a reputation for nurturing young talent, but sources suggest that his methods often come at a cost. For NBA YoungBoy, the relationship that once seemed mutually beneficial reportedly became one where decisions were made for him, often without his input. Sources allege that deals involving collaborations, album releases, and marketing strategies were structured in ways that prioritized Birdman's business interests, sometimes leaving YoungBoy with limited control over his own career. This type of behind-the-scenes maneuvering isn't unique to YoungBoy, but his willingness to expose it publicly has brought unprecedented attention to the power dynamics between veteran executives and emerging superstars. Insiders also report that YoungBoy's frustration grew because his creative vision was consistently overlooked. Songs he considered hits were shelved, and projects he wanted to prioritize were delayed due to label politics. While Birdman's decisions may have been intended to maximize profit, YoungBoy allegedly felt manipulated and constrained. Friends close to him say that these experiences built up over time, creating a sense of betrayal that fueled his public exposure. Social media erupted with fans analyzing past releases, dissecting collaborations, and debating whether the rapper had been treated fairly. Every post YoungBoy shared about the situation generated waves of support, and the drama quickly became one of the most viral stories in hip-hop, dominating discussions on forums, podcasts, and news outlets alike. The public's reaction to YoungBoy's claims has been overwhelming. Fans took to Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok to express outrage, support, and curiosity, dissecting every detail of the alleged behind-the-scenes manipulation. Influencers and commentators weighed in, some defending Birdman's legacy and others backing YoungBoy's right to control his career. Industry insiders point out that this debate highlights a larger issue. Many artists, particularly young ones, are often at the mercy of executives who hold significant power over their careers. By speaking out, YoungBoy not only asserted his independence, but also sparked a larger conversation about the balance of power in the music industry and how loyalty, respect, and transparency must coexist with business interests. By the end of Part 3, the story had evolved from a private feud into a public reckoning. NBA YoungBoy's exposure of Birdman wasn't just about revealing manipulation. It was a statement about self-determination and agency in hip-hop. The stakes were enormous: reputation, creative freedom, and financial control all hung in the balance. YoungBoy's careful approach, combined with his willingness to speak publicly, marked a turning point in his career, setting a precedent for other artists navigating similar challenges. While the industry continues to watch closely, one thing is clear: YoungBoy's choice to reveal what went on behind the scenes has reshaped the narrative. Empowering not just himself but also countless other young artists who may now feel emboldened to demand control over their own careers. The fallout from NBA YoungBoy's revelations didn't just stop online. It started affecting relationships, collaborations, and even the dynamics within the music industry itself. Sources indicate that other artists and industry figures were watching closely, some taking sides, others quietly reassessing how they handle business with veteran executives. For YoungBoy, this added another layer of pressure. Every word he shared publicly was not just about Birdman, but about setting a precedent for how emerging artists could assert control over their careers. The stakes were high, and mistakes could reverberate far beyond social media debates. Behind the scenes, YoungBoy reportedly spent hours discussing strategy with his team, ensuring that his narrative was cohesive, credible, and impossible to dismiss. This wasn't just drama. It was a calculated move in a game that could define his career for years to come. Inside the studio, sources suggest tensions were also reaching a boiling point. YoungBoy's vision for his music had long been a point of contention, with Birdman allegedly making executive decisions that didn't always align with the rapper's goals. Friends and collaborators note that while YoungBoy's output remained prolific, creative disagreements had become increasingly difficult to navigate. The revelation that Birdman had allegedly made moves behind the scenes that undermined YoungBoy's autonomy left him frustrated but determined. Industry insiders claim that YoungBoy started taking direct control over his projects, personally approving features, production choices, and release strategies, essentially asserting independence in a way that hadn't been seen before. His actions signaled to both fans and the industry that he was no longer willing to let others dictate his path. Social media erupted as snippets of conversations, leaks, and statements spread. Fans dissected every angle, comparing past interviews, album releases, and collaborations for evidence of manipulation. Some were shocked, expressing outrage at Birdman for allegedly limiting YoungBoy's creative freedom, while others praised YoungBoy for his courage and strategy. Analysts and music media began framing this as more than just a personal feud. It became a case study in power, influence, and control within the rap industry. The story wasn't just about one rapper exposing a mogul. It was about a larger narrative of how young artists could reclaim agency in a system often skewed toward executives. Every post, every clip, and every reaction reinforced that the situation had escalated into one of hip-hop's most talked-about controversies of the year. While the drama played out publicly, YoungBoy's approach remained deliberate and calculated. Sources suggest he carefully curated which details to share, ensuring that his perspective was amplified without unnecessarily alienating allies or damaging long-term partnerships. This balance required both strategic thinking and patience, as each revelation could either strengthen his position or provoke backlash. By maintaining composure and focusing on evidence rather than emotion, YoungBoy's narrative gained legitimacy, making it harder for detractors to dismiss his claims. Observers point out that this approach demonstrates not just a fight for justice, but also a masterclass in controlling the public narrative, something many rising stars fail to do under pressure. By the end of Part 4, it became clear that NBA YoungBoy had reached a turning point in his career. He was no longer simply reacting to manipulation. He was proactively reshaping his public image, asserting creative control, and sending a message to the industry that power dynamics could be challenged. The tension with Birdman, while personal, had transformed into a public lesson on strategy, independence, and resilience. Fans and insiders alike began to view YoungBoy in a new light, not just as a talented rapper, but as a young artist capable of navigating complex business landscapes while safeguarding his voice and future. This chapter in his story had raised the stakes, heightened the drama, and set the stage for a dramatic conclusion, with his next move promising to have long-lasting consequences for both his career and the industry at large. By the time Part 5 unfolded, NBA YoungBoy had fully taken control of the narrative. What started as frustration and behind-the-scenes tension had transformed into a public declaration of independence. Sources close to the rapper suggest that YoungBoy was no longer allowing anyone, including Birdman, to dictate his path. Every decision about features, album releases, and collaborations was now in his hands. The rapper reportedly began personally managing creative and business aspects of his projects, from selecting producers to negotiating partnerships, ensuring that his vision would finally align with execution. This newfound autonomy wasn't just about proving a point. It was a necessity for protecting his brand, creative output, and financial future. For fans watching closely, this was a side of YoungBoy rarely seen: deliberate, strategic, and uncompromising. Inside the industry, the impact was immediate. Fellow artists and executives took notice of YoungBoy's assertiveness, some offering support, others watching warily to see the fallout. According to insiders, his bold move to expose Birdman had not only sent shockwave through his immediate circle, but had also sparked discussions among other emerging talents who had long felt constrained by labels and industry moguls. YoungBoy's actions served as a case study in power and agency, a young artist asserting authority over his career in a system that often favors those with established influence. The story, which began as a personal conflict, had now escalated into a wider conversation about fairness, control, and creative freedom in the rap world. Social media continued to amplify every statement, post, and snippet of information. Fans meticulously analyzed the situation, debating whether Birdman had overstepped or whether YoungBoy's exposure was a natural reaction to years of mentorship manipulation. Memes, reactions, and viral videos dominated platforms, fueling engagement and discussions for weeks. Every time YoungBoy addressed the situation, either directly or through his music, the impact grew. The rapper's courage in publicly sharing details about his struggles behind the scenes became a rallying point for other artists, reinforcing the idea that transparency and self-advocacy are powerful tools in an industry built on hierarchy and influence. The tension reached its peak when insiders reported that meetings and negotiations between YoungBoy's team and Birdman's representatives became more formalized and high stakes. Every move was calculated, every conversation deliberate. YoungBoy was reportedly ensuring that his contracts, revenue shares, and creative rights were clearly defined, leaving no room for manipulation in the future. This level of control and strategic planning marked a dramatic shift from his earlier position, where decisions were often influenced or overridden by executives. Fans watching the saga closely began to see a transformation in YoungBoy, not just as an artist but as a business-minded strategist, capable of navigating the complex power structures that dominate the music world. By the conclusion of Part 5, it was clear that NBA YoungBoy had turned what could have been a career setback into a defining moment. By exposing Birdman and taking control of his own career, he had asserted not only his independence but also his ability to thrive under pressure. The revelations were more than drama. They were a statement about power, agency, and resilience in hip-hop. YoungBoy's journey showed that even when faced with manipulation from powerful industry figures, strategic thinking, patience, and determination could change the narrative entirely. Fans, critics, and insiders were left with a new understanding. YoungBoy was no longer just a talented rapper. He was a young powerhouse taking control of his destiny, ready to redefine the rules of the game and inspire a new generation of artists to claim the control that is rightfully theirs. NBA YoungBoy's bold move to expose Birdman has shaken the rap world to its core. Behind the music, behind the fame. This story reveals the harsh realities of the industry, where power, control, and loyalty are constantly tested. YoungBoy didn't just speak out. He took control of his narrative, reclaimed his creative freedom, and showed the world that no one, no matter how powerful, can dictate his path. Fans are now witnessing a turning point in his career, one that could redefine how artists navigate the music business. Every contract, every collaboration, and every decision moving forward is a statement. YoungBoy is in charge. The fallout is just beginning, and the industry will never be the same. Make sure you stay updated on every shocking revelation, every viral update, and every insider detail. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This is the drama you don't want.